Every Star Wars fan knows the colors of the classic lightsabers are red, blue, and green. However, for the original Star Wars generation, there's another answer to that question. The Luke Skywalker action figure came with a yellow lightsaber, even though it was blue in the film. It is an error that has never been explained, and one that we dismiss by saying, well, Luke's lightsaber was always yellow in the toy, and I guess that's just the way it's supposed to be. We justify it the same way people try and wrap their heads around the existence of man without going insane. Well, we've always been here on Earth, and I guess that's just the way it's supposed to be. I'll never figure out the origin of man, so I decided I had better chances to figure out the yellow lightsaber phenomenon. My first assumption was that the color of the effects may have been misinterpreted, so I went back to the original version of Star Wars before all the visuals were tinkered with to investigate. Well, I guess the saber looks white? White blue? What about the famous photo used in the Star Wars storybook? This looks pretty blue to me too. As a child, I always thought it looked blue in the movie. But my brain, in an effort to survive an inexplicable situation, just never questioned the yellow color of the toy's accessory. Even now, if I put a blue lightsaber on a vintage Luke Skywalker figure, it just looks incorrect. If that was the only anomaly in this whole mystery, then this video would be over, folks. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. It gets a lot weirder from here. Let's assume Kenner interpreted Luke's white-blue saber as yellow thanks to a poorly airbrushed photo from Lucasfilm. Hence, the Luke Skywalker action figure gets a yellow lightsaber accessory. Meanwhile, the Ben Kenobi figure gets a correctly colored blue one, possibly because his duel with Darth Vader is pivotal in the film. So why then does Ben Kenobi's figure card show him with a lightsaber airbrushed yellow? Why does one of the first Jigsaw puzzles depict Ben Kenobi wielding a yellow lightsaber? And here's the real mind bender. Kenner also made 12-inch figure dolls of the main heroes from Star Wars. For those, Luke Skywalker was given a blue lightsaber, and Ben Kenobi was given a yellow one. Once again, the packaging for the Kenobi toy showed photos, completely different photos, mind you, with an airbrushed yellow lightsaber. So for the doll, Ben's saber matches the packaging. To my mind, this is the strongest evidence to suggest that at some point, the Luke Skywalker action figure was supposed to have the blue lightsaber, and the Ben Kenobi was supposed to have a yellow one. Both the Kenobi figure card and the doll box depict yellow sabers. By contrast, the Luke figure and doll packages do not depict sabers at all. If Kenner already had both colors made for figure accessories, it makes no sense that they would deliberately make it so inconsistent. Was the Ben Kenobi figure supposed to have the yellow saber originally and something got lost in translation in Asia right before mass production began? Unlikely. There's one bit of evidence that negates this theory: the early bird figures. Kenner didn't have toys ready for Christmas 1977, but if you bought a certificate on a slab of cardboard, they'd send you the first 4 figures: Leia, R2-D2, Chewbacca, and Luke Skywalker. And he was photographed holding a yellow lightsaber. When Kenner received those promo figures to photograph, why didn't someone get on the phone and say, guys, the Luke Skywalker figure has the wrong lightsaber, fix it? Maybe they were too far along in the production run. Maybe there were piles and piles of them in shipping containers on the docks and it was too late to correct it. Or maybe Luke was always supposed to come with a yellow lightsaber. The box for the inflatable toy lightsabers muddies the waters further. For that toy, the only color offered was yellow, and both Luke and Kenobi are seen on the box with yellow sabers. The Kenobi photo is the same one from the doll, but the Luke photo was originally not a lightsaber photo at all. It was airbrushed to erase a blaster in his hand and add the goofy yellow blade. Ah, the days before Photoshop. By The Empire Strikes Back, there was no question that Luke's lightsaber in the film was blue. Kenobi was a ghost by this point, who was also very blue. So one would think Luke Skywalker's figure would get a blue lightsaber so kids could recreate the epic duel on Cloud City with relative accuracy. But Kenner was sticking to its crazy pills. The main Luke Skywalker figure for the Empire Strikes Back line, dubbed Bespin Fatigues, came with another yellow saber. With the duel between Luke and Vader in Empire being so frickin' epic, Kenner knew that kids were going to want full-size lightsabers of their own to play with, so they ditched the inflatable flashlights and went with an all-new plastic toy. There were 2 colors released, red for Darth Vader, and for Luke Skywalker, yellow. By the time Return of the Jedi came out, Luke's lightsaber was clearly green in the previews, so one would hope that Kenner would be ditching this yellow lightsaber mandate. I was 5 years old, and I go into a Target with my mom. We're walking down the aisle, and suddenly there's an entire end cap full of fresh out of the case Jedi Knight Luke Skywalkers. I'd just seen the film, so I freak out, I run over excitedly, and I start looking through them. I grab one, I look inside. Wait a second, why is his lightsaber blue? I started digging around, and I finally found a few on the pegs that had the correct green lightsaber. But the weird had already happened. Why blue? Why didn't they provide that saber for the Bespin Luke that came with the Empire toy line? Why yellow? Why does Kenner always get Luke's lightsaber color wrong? Why? 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 Thankfully, this error can be traced to the rare images from the Revenge of the Jedi trailer that had early special effects with Luke in battle with a blue lightsaber, later changed to green to show up better against the desert sunlight. Clearly, Kenner got one directive and then at the last minute had to change it to the correct color. But then why didn't Kenner just leave the toy saber blue? They were never motivated enough to correct the yellow saber from years before, and if they could mold one in blue, why didn't they do it for the Empire Bespin Luke, who really needed one, seeing as how they had to make a brand new lightsaber accessory for that figure anyway? And if they're so lazy about correcting these colors to begin with, why not just give the Jedi Luke figure a yellow saber too? During this period, Kenner finally changed the picture on Ben Kenobi's figure card to have a correct blue lightsaber. But interestingly, it is a re-airbrush of the photo from the doll box that had a yellow saber. What motivated them to suddenly start making efforts to get it right? Was it Lucasfilm? If so, where was Lucasfilm during the whole yellow lightsaber fiasco? Was it a change of leadership at Kenner, or was it competition from more detailed toy competitors like G.I. Joe? Was Kenner suddenly forced to up the ante because there was a new player in town? We will likely never discover the real answer. And I have another gripe on the lightsaber issue. Kenner's rationing of lightsaber accessories for their action figures was ridiculously tight. Vader and Kenobi had them, but of the 7 Luke Skywalker figures made, only the 3 I've mentioned so far came with lightsabers. The original figure's saber wasn't compatible with the others, but it was harder to lose because it went up his arm, so that was good. Meanwhile, if you lost Bespin or Jedi Luke sabers, you were stuck. Very doubtful your parents would buy you the same figure over and over just to get another lightsaber. X-Wing Luke came with a Rebel blaster and no lightsaber, but he was released during the Star Wars line and didn't have any weapons while flying his X-Wing in that film, so that's an understandable pass. On the other hand, while on Hoth, Luke used his lightsaber against the Wampa ice monster, but the Hoth Luke action figure only came with a sling rifle he is never seen with ever in the film. He should have been packed with a lightsaber, a blue one. Stormtrooper Luke was essentially a stormtrooper. No lightsaber needed, no argument there. Endor Luke, on the other hand, not only did he not get the cool removable helmet Endor Leia had, so he's cursed with Gargantua Noggin, but he also comes with the Jabba's Palace blaster Jedi Luke came with. How hard would it have been to pack him with the green lightsaber Jedi Luke came with? On Endor, Luke used only his lightsaber, and he certainly didn't have the weird blaster he tried to kill Jabba the Hutt with. I know it's likely that the yellow lightsaber mystery may never be solved, but my hope is that one day maybe someone who used to work at Kenner will see this video and will alleviate my lifelong confusion. There is nothing more hair-pulling or infuriating than hearing or seeing something out of context and never getting an explanation. So to sum up for you exactly what this yellow lightsaber mystery feels like in your head, I'd like to quote Lewis Black, who once overheard this statement and never received an explanation for it. "If it wasn't for my horse, I wouldn't have spent that year in college."
Yoda puppet and the Force lightsaber, each sold separately.
As you move your lightsaber, the sound of the Force moves with you. It can be a powerful friend. That is your first lesson. Learn it well.
The Force is in my lightsaber.
The Force is in all things.